What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. Hope everyone's enjoying their beautiful Sunday. It's a lot nicer here over on the east side. No snow now. There was very little snow. And I'm happy. I'm a happy boy right now. Hope everyone, by the way, enjoyed the holidays safely and with the ones you love. I hope you guys sent out all the gifts that you could, and I hope good karma gave you all the good gifts you were hoping for. And I know some of y'all were probably butthurt that you couldn't get your next gen consoles. And I feel for y'all. Probably not as much now because, your boy's secured. But I ain't going to rag on nobody who didn't because not going to lie, it's very hard right now. And, yeah. So, Christmas is come and gone. Up next is New Year's. 2021. It's very crazy now. Because when the old saying goes, time flies. And I didn't really, appreciate that saying. Or I didn't really believe in it. We kind of switched it up and didn't really believe in that saying for too long. And what I got to say to that now, as I've gotten older and I've gained more responsibilities and starting to get more into adulthood and starting to figure out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's really started flying, quite honestly. And I feel like I started noticing that time was starting to go a lot faster and the days were starting to fly by a lot more. I'd say around maybe my junior year of high school, maybe midway through when you start taking SATs and you have to start looking more towards college because they always look at your junior year more than your senior year, because senior year, that's when it was a snap, because that first half you do mainly work, but most of the time it's just group stuff. And I loved my senior year was absolutely a blast, but still thinking that's how where did the time go, when it comes to those times. And any young listeners out there, I want you guys to understand, to appreciate all the times you have to do stuff like that. I know it's not the best of circumstances right now, and I know there's this year's senior class. I don't believe they may do graduations, or maybe they will. Who knows? Or there might just be a huge Zoom one again. But I can say I graduated just before all this stuff happened, so I can at least know what it was like to actually have a graduation, have a prom, and all that stuff. And just thinking about it, man, it's that time is really going. And people say growing old sucks and this, that, and the other. I'm not afraid of growing up. I'm more afraid that I don't be productive with the time I do have when it comes to getting older. So I just want you guys to think on that. If you're afraid of growing up, that's okay. Remember, this stuff's inevitable. Right now, you could think, oh, man, I'm getting old, this, that, and the other. And then 5 years from now, you're like, oh, I was so young back then. Don't be over dramatic about how old you are either. Because eventually, you're going to look back and wish you're still the age you are now. But I'm just saying, don't dwell on it too much and just take the time that you have for what it is. And just go and just hit the ground running and start grinding, But just 2020, it sucked. Quite frankly, it's just been ass. It sucked. And yeah, I don't think I ever want to be home this much ever again. I would say, because it just feels like I don't be as productive as I feel like I can be when the world was normal. So it really pushes me to go out and actually be more productive and actually do more things and learn new things with the time that you have, because stuff like this could always happen again. Probably not likely, but let's just hope not. Yeah. In the grand scheme of things. But it always makes me want to try something new when the world gets back to normal. So yeah, 2020, I ain't gonna miss ya. And you really kicked the world's ass, and that's tenfold. Hopefully we can only hope that 2021 can't be any worse. And let's just keep our fingers crossed and pray that it doesn't. But yeah, I hope everyone's enjoying their day. I know today let me tell you what I got for Christmas. I got a new phone. It's iPhone X or 10, whatever. Well, for anybody who's wondering, because I know like people have a problem with it if you call it the X or the 10. It don't matter. I had an old phone, so this is a huge upgrade for me anyway. And yeah, and then I got myself some stuff. So I didn't receive, but I did give out some gifts. I did write a lot of cards and stuff. And if you're gonna get anybody a present, if it only has to be one person, make sure it's your mom. Make sure it's your mom or your dad or that one parental figure, that one person who means the most to you in your life. Make sure you get them at least a present or get them something to let them know that you care about them. And I'm just saying, if that's the only person you can get something for. I got my mom something and she loved it. I got her a necklace, and people might be like, oh, jewelry, this, that. Jewelry, it depends, because I didn't just get my mom any necklace. I got her something that meant a lot to me, and I know she knows that it means a lot to me, and that's why she loves it even that much more. And she gave me a call when she got it, and it makes you feel good. Personally, it makes me feel a lot better giving gifts to people, and then they see their reaction to getting it. I feel like I get a better feeling like that than it is getting when it comes to receiving. Like, don't get me wrong, I love receiving gifts, but I think I like that feeling of giving to someone you care about that much more, whether it's a gift or it's love, all like just spreading that positive vibe outward, But yeah, and other than that, my Christmas wasn't really too eventful, but I did go a little bit of Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve, and for the love, I thought I was the only one who was kind of overdue when it comes to getting Christmas presents, but I learned very quickly that wasn't the case. And yeah, so New Year's, not really anything planned for New Year's. This holiday season hasn't really been too eventful for me, quite honestly, and I don't really mind it. It's always fun to get together and stuff, get together with family or friends again, and stuff like that. Like, that's stuff like I kind of wish I was able to do, but again, with the way everything is, that puts a damper on things, But I have gotten my fair share of NBA basketball, and that's the thing I say that's kept me from just being bored. Because watching how all the NBA games play out and stuff, seeing my Celtics, the fact that they have like the worst defense in the league right now is a problem, even though it's only been like 2 games. But that's just so it just sucks seeing like your team can be a whole lot better. But don't get me wrong, Jason Tatum's that dude. I've said it before, like, this dude's gonna be an MVP candidate, and I've even said that this dude's gonna average north of 26 points per game as early as this season. And yeah, and just seeing, I don't even know about this whole James Harden thing either, to be quite honest with you guys. And I know that some of his trade destinations have been the Celtics and Portland and this, that, and then he had that incident with them being in the strip club and all this other unnecessary off the court antics, if you want to call it that. Well, he did play yesterday, and they lost off a turnover by him, but you can't deny that James Harden's one of the top 10 best NBA players on the planet right now. And when it comes to, in any sport really, when it comes to somebody wanting to get traded and they have like a bunch of off the field, off the court stuff going on that should be behind the scenes and private, people start diminishing their talent, being like, oh, he's not really that good, trying to drop his trade value without just from seeing all the off the court stuff. But James Harden's still that dude. He's still gonna he can still put 40 on your favorite player and your favorite team if this dude's half drunk, he can still do something like that. If he came to the arena half drunk, he will still put 40 on your favorite player. And that's just putting it. It's maybe it'd be a slight exaggeration, But still, you guys should understand my point. Like, that dude is not one to be messed with when it comes to the game of basketball. And let me just talk about it from like a Celtics fan's point of view. Would I want to see James Harden in a Celtics jersey? Maybe if it was a few years ago. And I'm not saying, oh, he's washed. I'm not going to be that type of person who's saying he's washed, we don't want him. If you got a chance to get James Harden, I'd say do it. But if you're the Celtics, I'd say no if it means you have to give up someone like a Jaylen Brown. Don't make that trade. In my opinion, you do not make that trade. I understand they did something like this for KG and bring in the big three, but I don't think... let me rephrase. I know that Jaylen Brown as a player right now was better than any player that the Celtics had to give up in order to get Kevin Garnett. He was better than Al Jefferson. He was better than Gerald Green. And even if you put all those guys together, I think Jaylen Brown, I would rather have Jaylen Brown. Whatever package you can make for a James Harden, you would have. I can't include Jaylen Brown, but also that means you can't really get a deal done because they want a young up-and-coming star. Sorry. Especially if it's 2 years. Remember the last time we traded for somebody who had a 2-year contract? Didn't go so well, and then they ended up leaving. Luckily, we got bailed out when it came to Kemba. But that's another thing, because if you couldn't trade Jaylen and you had to try to start including packages that included Kemba and this, that, and then that's just not that. Just long term, that's not gonna happen, or it's not gonna help us long term anyway. And I certainly am liking Jaylen Brown on my fantasy team. So from my fantasy team point of view, if you traded him to the Rockets, like that just exponentially boosted his value. But as a Celtics fan, I would not want to see something like that happen. I love James Harden. I think the dude's a top 10 player in the league, and he will put 40 on my favorite team. But I wouldn't want to see him on my favorite team if it means giving up one of my favorite players in the league right now in Jaylen Brown. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Luka is still that dude. The Lakers are good. Paul George, please just show up in the playoffs, dude. Like, all I got to say about this, because he's been playing good these first few games, and he's been balling out. Again, I got this guy on my fantasy team. I had faith in him in the regular season. Playoffs, not so much. But we just want to see that narrative change, because I remember when everyone loved Paul George. Everyone was behind Paul George. Now, there's that divide again. It's like, this dude sucks, and he can't put up numbers, and he's not that guy. This dude is still one of the best two-way players in the league. Just can't show up in the playoffs, especially last season when I had the Clippers making the finals against my Celtics. Neither of those things came out to be true. Celtics didn't play well in the conference finals. The damn Clippers, again, showed what the Clippers can do and didn't even make it to the conference finals. So I just hope the narrative changes. Brooklyn, holy crap. That 1-2 punch is going to be scary. Kyrie, I don't know what he did to my Celtics with that whole staging thing. He wanted to get out all the negative energy. He was like the Monstars and ended up taking all the Celtics as a defensive talent. But Kyrie, when he's healthy, that dude can put on a show. KD, I said this before. KD is going to be that guy who's going to be getting north of 35 years old, and he's still going to be able to put up 20 points per game. Because, like I said, his game was never based on athleticism, and he needed to go and get above the rim and dunk on your head to get points. This dude's an absolute sniper who can put up 25 at least on one leg. Like, Brooklyn, I know we didn't really do a early NBA season predictions, but I feel like Brooklyn definitely a top, maybe even the number 1 seed, top seed in the East. But seeing how the Eastern Conference has played out with all these dynamic duos and all these good teams, Celtics just, I feel they'll turn it around. I'm not too worried. It's still really early in the season, but I do believe the East has gotten especially better, most definitely. I don't know who I would take if it was like an East versus West. I do still believe the Western Conference is still better when it comes to teams, because East is more top heavy, but not as top heavy as before when it was just like the main 4 teams. Like you had the Celtics, you had when LeBron was still in Cleveland, or maybe a little bit, maybe 2 years earlier. When Celtics, you had 76ers, you had Toronto, Cleveland if LeBron was still there, but around the same 4 or 5 teams, you know, in that like Atlantic division around there. And then But you look at the Western Conference, a bunch of those teams could easily be higher up in the standings, you know? So it's more of that middle of the pack near the bottom half of the conference is where you see the kind of the divide between both of them. So I still think the West is better, just it's not as far fetched as it was before because the East is coming back. But yeah, just seeing basketball again it puts a smile on my face. It gets me in a jolly mood, you know. Christmas happened, and then you have the NBA games, and now 2021 is almost out the door. All that good stuff. I would say music has definitely been a saving grace for this year. If there was anything I can really say, and I think I did say this on the show before, that music has kind of been the driving force of getting through 2020 for me personally. When we had Cam on the show, shout out to my boy. And yeah, just seeing I feel 2021 is gonna be even better when it comes to music, because you have Drake's album next month, and who knows when he's gonna drop it. I haven't really kept too much up with it, but this year in particular, I've kind of gotten put onto a lot more artists, and I just can't wait, because I think about this stuff. I think about how much fun I'm gonna have when it comes to listening to newer artists or listening to songs that I kind of be like, where has this been all my life kind of thing. And you know those times that Apple Music and Spotify be hooking you up with like absolute banger after banger. It's like, where have all these songs came from? Like, hold on, I can't listen to all of y'all at the same time, you know? And just getting put on to new artists, and then you just have a whole slew of new music when it comes to like albums, solo projects and stuff. And I would say shout out to all those new artists all those new up and coming artists, and shout out to the OGs. I always like when Big Sean dropped his album. I would say Big Sean's album was probably one of my favorites this year. J. Cole stuff is always really good. That St. John album, one of the songs that was posted on the Instagram not too long ago with Time for Demons. That album, I like. That song in particular is maybe, quite possibly my favorite. I'll even say, yeah, it's my number one right there. At least on that album. Aaron May is always really good. But I'm just waiting for all these guys to drop more stuff or drop albums that I've been waiting. I've been waiting for a Joey Badass album ever since he dropped All American Badass. I've been waiting for J. Cole to drop The Fall Off, even in the same breath he said that quite possibly might be the last one he ever makes. So it better have at least 25 songs. Like, you saw Playboi Carti's Whole Lotta Red. Quite honestly, let me talk about Whole Lotta Red for a little bit. Didn't listen to it very much. I know a lot of people said it sucked. I can't really give a good opinion on it, but I probably wouldn't listen to it. And this is coming from a kid who loved listening to Playboi Carti as early as maybe 2 years ago. Some of his songs I still love, but Whole Lotta Red is like, I'm probably not going to give it the time of day, so I'm not going to say it's bad or it's good. So I would say go and listen to it for yourself and make an opinion on it. But yeah, I'm waiting for J. Cole. I heard a while back that Kendrick's gonna drop something. Like, I just need a bunch of, that just means a whole bunch of music. Just needs to just come and just flood its way out onto the streaming services already, you know? So I can just enjoy the beauty that is music. Enjoy the beauty that is music and baseball, basketball, all the stuff that comes back to me. I want the world to be normal so I can just enjoy all the things I can in a perfect world, you know? And in fact, I think this is a good time to wrap it up, because I want to go and listen to some music right now. And you guys should too, after listening to this OnSight podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Love y'all.